The government and people of Nigeria are indeed proud of you and the proud legacies you will leave behind.
Well done. Your 6 years in OPEC were 6 years of positive global impact. Buhari thumbs up Barkindo.
They summoned along with the project coordinator to appear before the joint committee. Say aye. Aye. Those who against say nay. The ayes have it.
6 years after, Senate requests status report from Environment Ministry on Ogoni cleanup.
We are here on needs assessment and to also meet and seek for the blessings of the royal fathers.
Plus, 11 days to Osun governorship election, INEC meets traditional rulers on smooth outing. Hello and welcome to NTA Network News. I am Ian Ray John, live in Abuja. Adiola Komiokere joins me from Lagos. Thank you for joining us. And just so you know, you can follow this news broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live, and all our social media platforms displayed on the screen for our updates. The Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources and the NNPC have been directed to mobilize key players in the Nigerian oil and gas industry to organize a befitting reception in honor of the outgoing Secretary General of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, Muhammad Sanusi Barkindo. President Muhammadu Buhari, who gave the directive while formally receiving Dr. Barkindo on a courtesy visit, said the nation is proud of his legacies after 6 years of meritorious service at the OPEC headquarters. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the details.
The outgoing OPEC Secretary General Muhammad Sanusi Barkindo, a strong believer in multilateralism and cooperation, is believed to be leaving the organization after the maximum allowed 2 terms of 6 years on a much stronger position than inherited in 2016. The way and manner he achieved the desperately sought cooperation agreement amongst oil producers towards addressing the supply glut that seemed to have defined all solutions and indeed crippling the oil market remain a standard of reference in OPEC history.
Mr. Barkindo has since steered the heavily loaded OPEC Plus ship through several life-threatening turbulent waters against all formidable obstacles. He spearheaded the historic Algiers Accord in September 2016, which paved way for the equally historic Declaration of Cooperation among 23 oil-producing countries, a feat that had never been achieved in the history of the oil industry.
For Muhammad Sanusi Barkindo, President Muhammadu Buhari's continued support, guidance, and trust in him as OPEC Secretary General was a distinct honor of a lifetime. He is here to say thank you to the Nigerian leader.
I benefited from this charisma of yours, this international gravitas that you have in abundance, and has made my job much, much easier. I have learned from your experience. I tried to follow your large footsteps. We built a very strong team, and the future looks very promising. Nigeria will continue to play its leadership role in this organization, as well as in the global oil industry.
President Buhari described Barkindo's 6-year reign as OPEC Secretary General as eventful and result-oriented. Dr. Barkindo, he emphasized, showed incredible leadership in rallying and pushing the oil industry players through the turbulent times occasioned by, amongst others, the COVID-19 global pandemic.
Your efforts have placed the organization in a stronger position to confront the challenges it will face in the coming years. The government and people of Nigeria are indeed proud of you and the proud legacies you will leave behind. The Secretary will remember you kindly. You have done yourself and your country proud.
Muhammad Sanusi Barkindo is the 28th Secretary General of OPEC and 4th from Nigeria. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Meanwhile, the uncertainty in the global crude oil market is affecting investments. The outgoing OPEC Secretary General Mohammed Sanusi Barakindo expressed this at the Nigeria Oil and Gas Conference in Abuja. Lydia Sampson reports.
Investment at adequate levels is the lifeblood of the oil and gas industry. Lately, the clamor for investment in cleaner fuel occasioned by the energy transition has labeled fossil fuel as no-go for investment, and Barkindo's take that these must be reversed resonate with all speakers here.
The biggest challenge before us is how should we deploy technology and appropriate policies to address carbon emissions, not about switching from one source of energy to another. Both conventional, non-conventional energy sources will be required for the foreseeable future.
It is very worthy to note that the federal government is providing a lot of enablers which are needed to realize the full potential of the gas sector.
Key players say now is the time not just to embrace the realities, but also reset financial strategies.
We're looking for finance, which of course is a major thing in this industry. Without finance, you're not doing anything. And then we're also looking at the issue of the gas.
As the world has already done, that gas will be the transition fuel of choice. And that's the reality. And therefore, that funding must come specifically for funding gas.
There's a big push for renewables, as we know, and there's no doubt about the fact that we all need to get ready for the shifts.
They are, however, unanimous that with proactive networking across the value chains, the narrative can turn around for good. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
In other news, the National Assembly Joint Committee on Host Communities has summoned the Minister of Environment to appear before it to present the status of the Ogoni Cleanup project. A meeting between the Parliamentary Committee, the Ministry of Environment and Management Committee of the project was scheduled for Wednesday, 5th of July 2022, but the absence of the minister who sent a representative stalled the engagement.
Because Mr. President and this administration felt it should take off so that the sufferings of the people will be alleviated. What exactly is happening? It's shocking that even the project coordinator is not also here.
We had invited them for about 3 times. Of the motion that the Honourable Minister be summoned along with the project coordinator to appear before the joint committee. Say aye. Aye. Those who against say nay. The ayes have it. The new date will be communicated in due course, and it's not going to be long. And along with that, the BPP will also be invited.
In the meantime, the leadership of the House of Representatives has described as unacceptable the nonchalant attitude of some heads of government agencies to appear at investigative hearings, especially in relation to the economy. National Assembly correspondent Lamiale reports that it was during an investigative hearing to ascertain the actual daily consumption of premium mutual spirit in Nigeria.
The lingering fuel scarcity and controversy surrounding huge sums paid by the federal government as subsidy are some of the issues that necessitated these engagements between the House of Representatives on the one hand and key stakeholders on the other. Most heads of government agencies were absent, while others sent representatives to the hearing.
Organizations that are saddled with the responsibility of managing a critical assignment like the distribution and accounting for the distributed and sold PMS in this country will be reluctant to come here to do their duties. The topic for this investigation is a very controversial issue. Nigerians don't know how much fuel we are consuming that warrants the payment of such humongous amounts.
The House, in its wisdom, has mandated this ad hoc committee not to restrict its investigation to only the state actors, but also to other critical stakeholders such as the experts, unions, trade associations, and members of the general public.
The committee wants to know the details of daily consumption volume of PMS in Nigeria.
Consumption means what is dispensed at the nozzle. How do you plus or minus those those products that are diverted? How do you segment, for instance, without road safety and MBS collaboration, how many vehicles, for instance, do we even have in Nigeria that is PMS powered?
The agencies were asked to submit more documents as the committee stresses that deployment of technology in the value chain may be the best option to address the matter. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Elsewhere, the Federal Ministry of Power, with support from the European Union and German government, have launched the new Nigeria Sustainable Energy for All platform, C for All, aimed at ensuring better electrification planning in Nigeria. Adebola Brooksland reports.
Adequate power supply and poor data are some of the challenges Nigeria is faced with. The Nigeria Sustainable Energy for All, C for All platform, which involves the collection of data using a vehicle-mounted mobile mapping device, Trimple MX7, enables fast and productive capture of roads, infrastructure, and environmental data in a 360 degrees format.
This will encourage more clean energy projects in Nigeria and facilitate access to reliable and affordable electricity.
Over 4,000 settlements and over 3.2 million buildings have been mapped remotely, and over 60,000 kilometers of the national grid tracked.
Looking at how to put cameras around the grid. Sometimes it's just sabotage, sometimes it's theft. You know, they pull down and remove all the components to go and sell, and this affects all of us.
The program is in line with federal government's quest of data-driven electrification.
The policy on achieving electricity by the year 2030.
Also to make sure that renewable energy and energy access in general is taken to the last mile, especially in the rural areas.
From the touch of a button, you will be able to identify what community has what kind of power supply.
The data is to serve as a guide for power ministries and investors to know where electricity is available or in shortfall and in real time. Adebola Brooksland, NTA News.
And in education, the federal government of Nigeria has taken steps to reabsorb returnee Nigerian students from Ukraine to Nigerian schools following the conflict in that country with Russia. A statement by the spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Francisca Omayuli, states that the federal government is committed in facilitating the placement of the students into various Nigerian tertiary institutions to enable them continue their studies. Interested students are advised to visit the Ministry of Foreign Affairs website www.foreignaffairs.gov.ng to complete the online Nigerian student in Ukraine registration form with required information on or before 15th July 2022. Many Nigerian students trapped in the conflict zone were evacuated through the efforts of the federal government and have been reunited with their families without any hope of continuing their studies. This new window will rekindle hope for the returnee students and their parents, the statement notes. And on electoral matters, the chairman, Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, has assured the people of Osun State to expect credible election in a forthcoming governorship election in the state. The INEC boss gave this assurance while addressing Osun State Council of Obas. Adejoke Eluyemi, who was at the Onis Palace, brings us details.
July 16 governorship election in Osun State, the chairman, Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmood Yakub, when addressing the Osun State Council of Obas, explained that preparations are in top gear for the smooth conduct of the governorship election.
We are here on needs assessment and to also meet and seek for the blessings of the royal fathers. So the people of Osun, young and old ones, they are registered voters, should expect a very credible process. Our message is simple, that it's only the people of Osun that will determine who becomes the next governor and no one else.
All we want is peace and peaceful coexistence, for the election to come very smoothly and seamlessly. We do not want any violence. We want Osun to be peaceful because Osun is the missing link and the barometer for the general election in this country.
The INEC boss, who used the opportunity of the meeting to chronicle what the commission has prepared for the smooth running of the election, emphasized the need to shun violence. From the palace of the Ooni of Ife, Adejoke Oluyemi.
And if you just joined us, this is the Network News. More news after the break. Please stay. Thank you for staying. The First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Buhari, has reaffirmed her determination towards supporting the lives of Nigerian women and children, especially at the grassroots. The First Lady stated this in a message during the presentation of medical equipment to General Hospital, Suleja, Niger State. State House correspondent Aliyu Kabir reports that this is in continuation of the future assured nationwide medical outreach towards improving the health of women and children in the country. The items donated include complete set of mama kits, wheelchairs, sanitary kits, as well as face masks and sanitizers. Presenting the equipment to the beneficiaries, the First Lady, through the Special Assistant to the President on Health and Development Partners, Dr. Victoria Ogala Akogo, has enjoined them to use the items for maximum benefit. The Medical Director of the hospital, Dr. Adedokun Abdulaziz, who received the items on behalf of the hospital management, assured the First Lady that the items would be judiciously used. About 2,000 internally displaced persons in host communities at Shwari Pompamari bypass in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, benefited from free medical outreach and distribution of palliatives to enhance civil-military relations. This is part of activities marking this year's Nigerian Army Day celebration, NATSEL 2022, organized by the 7th Division Nigerian Army. Maimuna Garba reports.
Nigerian Army, they also came to help us with free medications and palliatives.
Sojoji abin da zan ga musu rance Allah saka musu raniyar ubangiji Allah ya biya su.
These are some of the beneficiaries of the palliatives and medical outreach by the 7th Division Nigerian Army, Maiduguri, as part of NATSEL 2022 activities. The annual week-long event is an important program of the Nigerian Army, considering the various ongoing peacekeeping operations across the country. NATSEL is an opportunity for the Nigerian Army to also interface with the public, especially at the theater of operations, hence the provision of free medical support and relief materials to the people affected by insurgency to further enhance civil-military relationship.
It is also in this light, and considering the importance of health and health-related issues, that the division decided to conduct this year's NATSEL free medical outreach and distribution of palliatives as part of its corporate social responsibility.
Borno State government appreciated the tremendous support of the Nigerian Army in strengthening security in the state.
These outreach programs have been very impactful on the life of the community in the state.
The medical outreach covers laboratory tests and free drugs, while each person got a bag of rice and cooking oil. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
And in security, the Nigeria Police Force is working on a comprehensive conflict management document to guide officers on human rights and also assess the psychological state of personnel on the field. Francis From reports that this is to enhance operational preparedness of the personnel to effectively tackle security challenges in the country.
Current development in the world of education, teachers need to be effective in the performance of their role, and this capacity building program for commandants and staff of the Force Education Unit is one of its kind.
The police force is founded on the bastion of discipline, and that is why we believe in the education of our children in a secure environment and the welfare of their teachers. And this is the reason why we liaise with the Police Trust Fund to organize this seminar for our teachers.
May I at this juncture enjoin you to actively participate at this very important program so that the laudable objective will be met. It is the minister's wish and prayer that this will not be the only one, that it will be a continuous event.
With the current security challenges around, participants are expected to be exposed to the rudiments of blended learning, effective communications, and to have the right vision for their schools, amongst others.
That when they get back to their respective schools, they can impart the knowledge that they have acquired here to the staff who are not opportune to come here.
They will be able to use new skills and techniques that are relevant in our own local environment to ensure that the kids are getting quality education.
This is the maiden training of police commandants and staff with about 300 participants. Franks is from NTA News.
Looking at other issues now, for 4 days now, motorists plying the Gombe-Bauchi Federal Road have to look for alternative routes as flood destroyed some culverts along the road. The good news, however, is that contractors have been mobilized to carry out some repairs. Albas Mekano reports.
This is one of the most important federal highways in the northeast that linked Adamawa, Borno, Gombe, Taraba, Yobe and Bauchi states. It is a major road to the country's capital, Abuja, from 5 out of 6 states of the sub-region. 42 kilometers from Gombe, 3 culverts along the road collapsed due to heavy downpour cutting out the sub-region from the rest of the country. The washed-away portion is in Bara village, Kirfi local government area of Bauchi state, which has now turned into a very busy area with activities of petty traders and transporters who convey passengers to their destinations from both sides. People of the village were also seen taking the advantage of the situation to charge token amount of money to cross over with travelers and their wares.
If people carrying load for you, you have to pay them. Just like the boy I carried now, you have to pay him something. But we pray that God help the government to see it, ensure. I know this government is a government that is ready to help, so they should just see what they can do to ensure they help.
My plan is to go to Abuja now. I'm stranded.
Work to repair the road has since commenced in earnest.
In this kind of area, there is little you can do during rainy season like this. Definitely with this residual measure, by the time the rain season goes.
The road is expected to be opened in the next few days. In Gombe, Abbas Mekano, NTA News.
Waste collectors in the Northeast region are being trained on efficient waste management by the Northeast Development Commission. Bauchi and Gombe states have benefited from this initiative. Ruth Aguele compiled the reports.
The hazards solid waste poses to the environment and the collectors of these waste have continued to raise major concerns, especially in the Northeast region where the practice is prevalent. To change the narrative, the Northeast Development Commission is engaging scavengers on how to turn waste to wealth. Emmanuel Akila reports that 150 scavengers were engaged in Gombe State.
Seeing the kind of solid waste we are generating in the Northeast, so we feel that there's a way if we can convert this into something more useful.
I have friends that are doing that kind of business, taking waste products from the original place to the where it may be recycled.
Similarly, Mahmoud Mohammed reports that Bauchi State was also not left out, as another 150 scavengers were equipped with modern techniques on waste management and its economic benefits.
If these scavengers are not properly trained, if they don't have the right kits, if they don't have the right protective equipment to use to pick the waste, it's going to harm them.
Based on the statistics we have about 79% of our waste that is recyclable that can be converted to one or two items. So they have value.
After the training, the participants are expected to utilize the skills acquired, while the Commission puts the right mechanisms in place for them to thrive. Ruth Aguele, NT News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the reappointment of Hajia Saratu Umar as Executive Secretary and Chief Executive Officer of Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission. for another term of 5 years. The reappointment was contained in a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, which stated that as an investment promotion expert, the short period of Saratu Umar as Executive Secretary has witnessed a transformation of the NIPC into a world-class investment agency and minimized revenue leakages, saving the country 500 billion naira, for which she received a commendation from the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission. President Muhammadu Buhari joins the performing arts industry in celebrating one of the country's most celebrated thespians, Jimmy Sholanke, on the occasion of his 80th birthday. In a statement, President Buhari describes the veteran songwriter, actor, performer, visual artist, poet, and storyteller as a national hero and thanks him immensely for using his talents and works to help shape the modern and vibrant creative industry in Nigeria. The president hopes that Baba Agba's repertoire of works and skills will continue to inspire a new generation of Nigerians to work on using the theater to address contemporary issues, promoting peace, unity, and progress across the country. He prays for God's continued guidance and blessings on the octogenarian and wishes everyone celebrating with the legend bountiful success in their endeavors. And now time to take a trip to Lagos, where Adiola is standing by to give us more news. Adiola, take it away.
Thank you so much, Nyere, and welcome to Lagos. Work has commenced in earnest on the construction of Okpebi-Mende-Ojota Link Bridge, one of the initiatives by the Lagos State Government to address perennial traffic challenges across the metropolis. Mr. Toliat has the report.
The commencement of board piling for the Okpebi-Ojota Link Bridge at Maryland serves as a building foundation that guarantees support for the structures. The 3.9-kilometer Okpebi-Ojota Bridge, conceived 20 years ago, is now gradually coming to fruition.
The weight of each beam is 55 tons. So we will bring very big crane for the lifting operation. It will be the 300-ton crane. And therefore, of course, to lift such heavy load within the swamp requires also appropriate preparation works.
Designed to provide direct link between Okpebi, Mende, Maryland, and Ojota to Ikorodu Road, the bridge is expected to reduce the perennial traffic on Mobolaji Bank Anthony Way and traffic on other roads around the environment.
What this will do is decongest Mobolaji Bank Anthony, which is always congested in the morning. That's a very important route to go to the airport. People in Ikeja spend about 2 hours to get to the island. So with this connection, we can cut it by an hour so that people can get to the island within an hour.
The project is designed in conjunction with the Lagos State Ministry of Transportation to provide road infrastructure and transport solutions that will ensure value and relief for the motoring public.
For me, it's the innovation that it brings to exactly how we can build modern day bridges when we have unusual ground conditions. If a contractor, you're used to building bridges where the terrain is good, it's fine. What then happens when you have unusual soil conditions? I think it's what this project signifies. The solutions that we're bringing to bear is something that is unique.
Lagos State government says the Okpebi-Mende-Ojota Link Bridge will be completed by June 2023. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
As the nation grapples with the harsh reality of frequent shortage of petrol in recent times, some illegal bunkers are taking advantage of the situation. But the federal government, the Federal Operations Unit, Zone A of Nigeria Customs Service has remained resolute, and this has led to the interception of 265,000 liters of the commodity within 6 months. Michael Olaleye reports.
A usual setting depicting a petroleum depot, but here are parts of the proceeds from the recent anti-smuggling drive of the Federal Operations Unit Zone A. In fact, the rate at which petroleum products are smuggled is becoming alarming, but the biggest worry to the customs is how some people deny Nigerians access to a commodity already subsidized by governments by smuggling to neighboring countries.
And it is on daily basis that we keep seeing it. That is why we were able to account for about 265,000 liters.
A major challenge experienced since the reopening of borders is, while legitimate trade continues to thrive, smuggling activities keep increasing, but the Federal Operations Unit Zone A of the Nigeria Customs Service believes the war is winnable with timely information, as the forthcoming general elections could present a window for unlawful importation.
I'm using this chance to tell Nigerians not to be swayed by their talks, not to be swayed by their money, that somebody who will now come in with an item like arms to fight what? To fight us. And you will now know, because of what you will gain, you will now allow those things to come in. Please, if you cannot come to us, go to other agencies and let us have that timely information.
The discovery of this parcel of cannabis is a good example. Intercepted in Ogiri after coming in from Idiroko and routes the northern parts of the country. But the pledge going forward by the customs is that all importers of contraband will not only be sent out of business, but get their hands burned. Within the period under review, the Federal Operations Unit Zone A did not just seize goods with total duty paid value of more than 7.1 billion naira, but collected 577 million naira as revenue derived from underpayment, while 103 suspects were arrested. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NT News.
And those are the stories from Lagos. Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/olive and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. The network news will continue with Nyeri in Abuja after this break. Stay with us.
Glad to have you back. Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters, led by its chairman, Michael Bamidele, has described the Nabo Graham Douglas Port Harcourt campus of the Nigerian Law School as an architectural masterpiece of global standard. This was shortly after the inspection of the Port Harcourt campus of the Law School and the River State Legislative Quarters. Ogedi Nyekure completes the report.
Visit to the Port Harcourt campus of the Nigerian Law School by the Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters followed the report of some members of management of Council of Legal Education after an inspection of the Port Harcourt Law School a few weeks back, notifying them that Governor Wike has made good his promise.
This is one of the happiest oversight visits we have paid in the life of, our own leadership of the Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters. It's a celebration of our democracy. It's a celebration of leadership. It's a celebration of accomplishment.
We have seen the law school, and I'm excited to say that it is indeed a very wonderful edifice to behold. And we have come here, we've seen the legislative quarters. The legislative quarters is really fantastic.
When you find yourself in an environment like this, of course, productivity is enhanced.
You will carry the story back to your colleagues that you have seen, and you are convinced that a lot has been done here to improve legal education in Nigeria and to improve also the welfare of legislators in Rivers State.
They are optimistic that the environment will enhance the productivity of the Rivers State legislators. In Port Harcourt, Ogedi Nyekure, NTA News.
And on the economy, digital solutions are now the reliable enabling economic transformation platform for recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. To actualize this, public and private sectors in Nigeria are synergizing towards the removal of barriers that can hinder digital transformation for economic growth. Bossade Abel reports.
The COVID-19 pandemic created a shift from the normal global business landscape
forcing the world to adopt key technologies, leading to a paradigm shift in line with the World Economic Forum prediction that 60% of the global GDP will be digitized in 2022 and over the next decade, and that digital economy in Africa will grow to over $300 billion by 2025.
I give you an example.
Here, experts and key players in digital economy are advocating inclusive digital transformation by creating platforms that support the new ways of doing business, using the power of the internet by bridging gender gap and creating room for people living with disabilities through education and sensitization to ensure that no one is left behind.
It's possible, but for inclusion to happen, it has to start from the planning. So a lot of times we think about inclusion when we get to the point of implementation. By then it's too late because we haven't designed the program.
And so this kind of initiative where we're discussing about inclusion in and having digital access is the very fundamentals and the basics.
Nigeria should endeavor to ensure that digital literacy is embedded into the Nigerian education system right from early child care.
Policy Innovation Center and partners believe bridging the digital divide among women and persons living with disabilities in the digital ecosystem will lead to a resilient and inclusive growth. In Abuja, Boss Sede Ebo, NT News.
Meanwhile, the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency, SMEDAN, is pushing for a mind shift towards entrepreneurship education at secondary school level in a bid to promote wealth creation. To this end, the agency has organized a capacity building for 100 teachers under the National School Entrepreneurship Program in Abuja. Musa Abubakar reports.
Concerned about the rate of unemployment, Umar Garba, a marketing teacher, is worried about how some of his students will get a job without any entrepreneurship skills by the time they graduate from school. After being selected for the NCEP capacity building by SMEDAN, its concern is now in the past. The Train the Trainers entrepreneurship program is designed to provide access to functional and hands-on entrepreneurship education to every primary and secondary school student to eliminate youth unemployment.
We start from the primary school to our secondary school. We start indoctrinating them, telling them what and what to do, as regards them trying to bring food on their table and not to expose themselves to be employees, but be employers of labor.
Entrepreneurship is a gateway to every economy of the world today. So what you people have been brought in to learn is something that is a gateway and opening to the economy of every nation.
I believe one or two skills that I will get from here will be of benefit to me and my students.
This year's focus is on mind shift, and the agency is collaborating with FCT Secondary Education Board to train teachers who, after completion of the program, will pass the knowledge to their students. In Abuja, I'm Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
Also, every Nigerian has the right to demand for efficient service delivery from all government agencies. This is coming from no other person than the National Coordinator and Chief Executive Officer of Servicam Office, Presidency, Unena Akajemili, at a special orientation for staff of the State House. State House correspondent Gideon Ifade reports.
Rewarding excellence, rewarding service.
Interactions such as this is considered necessary to sensitize public officers at all times to be alert to their responsibilities in providing improved, efficient, timely and transparent service to the people. A reason the National Coordinator says Servicom was established in 2004, which also includes educating the customers on their rights, as well as to ensure good leadership.
Employee appreciation is a fundamental human need. When you encourage staff, you engage them one-on-one and show them the best way out of a difficult process. They feel motivated. They feel touched by the lives of their leaders.
Permanent Secretary of the State House, Tijani Umar, underscores the critical role of motivation for workers.
You can't be an office holder if what you do is to enjoy the purposes of that office. That office must show that you have made a true change. You must have affected the office in a very positive way.
The Permanent Secretary and 4 others were given recognition by Savicom for good leadership and commitment to good service delivery. From the State House, Jide Onifade, NT News.
And away from Sevicom, the Bureau of Public Enterprise has been notified of the takeover of shares owed by Kano, Benin and Kaduna, Fidelity and Afrixim Discos by Fidelity Bank. And a statement signed by Executive Chairman, Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, Sanusi Garba, and the Director General of BPE, Alex Oko. Fidelity Bank has initiated action to take over the boards of these discos and exercise the rights on the shares. The action is said to be a contractual and commercial intervention and is between the core investors in the discos and the lender. The statement adds that BPE is involved because of the 40% shareholding of government in the discos. The new board members are Hassan Tukur, Chairman, Kano Disco, KC Akuma, Chairman, Benin Disco, while Kaduna Disco has Abbas Jega as Chairman. Meanwhile, BPE has nominated Bashir Gwandu, Yomi Adeyemi, and Umar Abdullahi as independent directors to represent government's 40% interest in the 3 discos respectively during this transition, and have appointed Ahmad Dangana, Henry Ajagbawa, and Yusuf Yahaya as interim managing directors of Kano, Benin, and Kaduna discos. Time for another quick break. Please stay. Welcome back. Let's now have a bit of sports.
The Super Falcons of Nigeria have put behind the team's 1-2 loss to arch rivals, the Bayana of South Africa, with the team's training session Tuesday evening in Morocco. The training focused more on scoring goals and sharpening defense skills. The Falcons' next match is on Thursday against Botswana. In the Nigerian Professional Football League, the league management company has directed that the remaining matches of the 2021-2022 league be played on Sunday simultaneously across all centers. This is in line with the company's position on fair play and equity. In the meantime, FIFA President Gianni Infantino has congratulated Rivers United for emerging champions of 2021-2022 Nigeria Professional Football League. The FIFA boss said the title could not have been achieved without the entire team's hard work, passion and dedication. He also appreciated the NFF and the entire football fraternity in Nigeria for their contributions towards the development of the game in Africa. To fencing, a total of 14 athletes consisting of 6 females and 8 males will represent Nigeria at the 2022 Commonwealth Fencing Championship, slated to hold at the University of East London, Sports Dock, United Kingdom, from the 9th to 20th August 2022. The president, Nigeria Fencing, Adeyinka Samuel, said his federation will feed athletes in cadet and junior categories for both individual and teams events.
We've been training very hard, so we're expecting to do pretty well at the competition. The majority of our fencers are based in Nigeria.
Adeyinka hinted that the team will go for a week training camp ahead of the competition in London to help them acclimatize and prepare well. With sports update, Olumide Guntola, NT News.
All right, with sports done, let's take a quick look at the weather prospects for Wednesday.
Glad you could join us on the weather forecast. We expect a very cloudy morning over the northeast with prospects of some thunderstorms over parts of Borno, Yobe, Gombe, Adamawa, and some parts of Taraba. Some areas around the eastern part of Benue may also see a few rains. We have prospects of morning rains to the south-west coast, speaking specifically of Lagos and its environs, where light rains are expected. We expect these rains, as the day progresses, to extend to more of the coastal parts of the country. We expect a few thunderstorms over the inland areas of the southeast and the southwest. We also expect some thunderstorms over the high ground areas of the central states. Nothing too intense. We also expect the rains over the north to be concentrated to the northwestern flank of the country, and this rain should be light to moderate. And that's it from here. Thank you for watching and see you once more.
All right, many thanks, Desmond, for that quick peep at the weather outlook for the 6th of July. And that concludes NTA Network News tonight. Many thanks for watching. And here's a quick reminder. Rape is a crime. Speak up and take action. I'm Henry John. Have a good night.